Purchase and sales agreements. We're about to go into the purchase and sales agreement.
Almost making money.
This is like third step in. This is where we're making money. This is like guaranteed. We're about to go and close a deal.
Checks are coming.
Checks are in the mail, right? Checks are coming. So the purchase and sale agreement, these are exciting. Offers are kind of like, they're legit, they're legal, they're legit, but the P&S means you're under agreement. This is where we talk about under agreements all the time. This is where it starts counting. This is a UAG. You want to have stacks of these always in the wings. So you should be writing all those UAGs up. All right. So the first thing is the date. Anytime this document is referenced in the future, it will be referenced as purchase and sale signed this date. So the top part is very important. You make sure the date is a date that is accurate. So moving forward, it'll be referred to that way. Parties, the seller side is where the names go here. Of the address, right here. Input now buyer's name under in this line. And hold on, yep. Seller's name here, buyer's name here, property known right here, recorded at the Bristol Registry of Deeds, book and page number you usually find out later unless you brought the assessor's card with you. Typically on a listing agreement, I've already got that with me. Bring your assessor's card, bring your Zillow, bring your CMA. This way, you're out there, you can just fill all that in right from that information.
Done deal.
Yep, they're always out there with us. We always have the assessor's card. Then, moving down, you skip that section. If there's anything that the seller is not selling with the house, you would put that in here, this section, underneath. If there's anything they're keeping in the house that the buyer actually wants it put into the contract, like sometimes refrigerator, stove, microwave, chandeliers.
Well, stoves have to be included.
Only in an FHA. They don't actually have to be included.
Oh, because it does say in that paragraph, stoves are listed in there.
Yep. So all of this is included unless it's excluded here. Right.
So they would have to include the stoves if they didn't exclude it, is what I'm saying.
Correct. Okay. So it's all in here. It's already written. Mm-hmm. But you could exclude this bottom part and you would cross out the stove up top. Right. So this is a unique contract. They don't all have this written in there. But for this particular one, it is. Now for the purchase and sale, this again is the same price that was written on the offer form. Sometimes we skip the offer form, especially down here in the South Coast and in Rhode Island. You'll find when you do deals in Boston, they always use the offer form. They always do the 10-day inspection before signing a purchase and sale. Down here in the South Coast, sometimes we skip the offer form and we do the purchase and sale just from the beginning. And we have the inspection period included in it. Just so you know, like depending on where the buyer's agent's coming from, there's kind of two different schools of thought. I prefer the Boston method. They do it better. It makes more sense to have the offer signed first. No real money's put up. Exactly. And then you're going through the offer process. So as investors, we want to start the full system that we're going through right now. Make sense? Cool. Hell yeah. Now, purchase price goes here. The deposit was paid with contract purchase, which is the offer. So that would be the $100. And then with this agreement, now you're putting the rest. So if you're putting the full $5,000, now you're putting $4,900 in addition to here in this line right here. And so I don't put this second part. We don't use that. And then this is the full dollar amount remainder minus that piece. So if the price is $250,000, you would put now here the $245,000, and then down the bottom here is the $250,000. So it's saying the 100 plus the 100 plus the 1,000 plus the 4,900 plus the 245 equals the 250,000, and that's how you fill out the money section. Initials. Buyer side's on the left, seller side's on the right. Do all of this afterwards. I go out, I fill the whole form out first, and at the very end, just have them sign everything. This way you can go through it much more efficiently. If you're having them sign every time, it's a much longer conversation. Whereas you get all the documents in front of them after you've gone through everything with both parties, get all the documents in front of them, and then just have them sign, because they've already agreed and they've understood everything as you went through it. Much more efficient. Escrow funds are again held with the listing brokerage. Time for performance, typically I put either 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. Doesn't really matter. At the day, which is 45 days from the original accepted purchase and sale. At the then Bristol County Registry. This section is just saying the title has to be clean. Title insurance will be purchased by the buyer. The closing certificates and documents will execute simultaneously at the same time. Possession and conditions of the premises are as was seen. Nothing will change in the condition of the property. Extension of time of performance is saying you have 30 days to do extensions if necessary. Again, initials on everything. Non-conformance of premises is stating that the property must conform. If it doesn't, then it's an opportunity for them to back out of the contract. Acceptance of the deed. The buyer has the right to accept the title, such as premises from the seller at the time of the delivery of purchase, and if extended, can then accept it then. The whole point is that you're going to buy the house. Any adjustments will be done later on. So any adjustments can be done to this contract. That's what this section is saying, that the purchase and sale can be adjusted with an addendum. Super simple. This is now the commission section. Every agent should be paying very close attention to the commission section as they're doing the transaction. What's up, Dave? So the transaction fee goes here in percentage and then spelled out here in dollar amount. This is paid to the listing agent. The listing agent then, down at this bottom part, will adjust and pay out the buyer agent. All right, so this is written again by the listing agent and the buyer agent on the top, and then the listing agent is being paid. So it's is paying out too. So it's very important that you pay attention to this line. I have seen brokers in the past sneak in percentages here. If you see a broker say, oh, half, or you just white it out or cross it out, and then give them a phone call and say, hey, no, what I put in the listing room is what we're paying you. That's it. If you put 2% and they go and type in 2.5 here, you call them up and say, hey, sorry about that, but this is a 2% listing. I hope you understand. I'm going to fix this unless you want to send it over corrected. This is just something to keep an eye on when you're the listing agent. Or if it's a 1% or 1.5, or even if it's a 3, right? But you know, you're not paying them anymore. Just keep an eye on that section. Brokers tend to think that they're cute.
Be a little slick.
Be a little slick sometimes. They're not all created equal. So then the buyer's agent is paid out of that section. You just check it. Buyer's financing. This is where you put the dollar amount that they're actually going to finance. Typically, you'll be working with FHA buyers if they're a new buyer. So it's 3.5% is the down payment. So we just take the purchase price of $250 times 96.5. 0.965. You type that in times the dollar amount and you get the answer. That's just taking the 3% out, 3.5% out. Super simple math. Prevailing rates and terms, and this is that date I was talking about. This is 10 days current date, so 10 days before the closing date. Whatever you put the closing date above, 10 days before that. This section here is the 10 days from signature of the purchase and sale. So if it's signed on the 10th, then on the 20th, you should have already gotten the application in. So just put 10 days from the date of the PNS. Home inspection, 10 days from the date of the PNS. It's all the same. We're making sure that the home inspection is done within 10 days. Sometimes it's done before you get here if you already did it in the offer form, so you can just remove that section. But just make sure that you always have it at 10 days if you haven't done the inspection yet. And then in this section, some contracts have it, some contracts don't. You just put home, right? It is a home being inspected. Unless it is a business, in that case you put business being inspected or property being inspected. Again, signatures, this section is again just letting them know about lead paint laws. Certificate of approved installation for anything that was installed for smoke detectors, just saying that they have to comply for the closing. The state requires that. Warranties and representations is getting into septic systems. So when you're dealing in a town like Swansea or Westport that has septic systems, you got to make sure that you verify whether or not it's a cesspool, because cesspools all have to be replaced. Get it verified. The Title V, yep. So if it has been done, then check yes. If the Title V has not been done, unknown, has no knowledge of. It's also underground storage tanks, anything that would be chemicals related to the building. This is that section. Warranties and representations all has to be filled out. This is where you put the address of the buyer and the address of the seller. You should have this now because it's been filled out on the offer form, or the listing agreement. The listing agent can send this to you, or the buyer agent can send this to you. But it should be on the offer form, so you should be able to fill out all this information at this point. Again, initials, additional provisions. Notice this section's a little bit bigger because now you've done the home inspection and you may have some things that you want to get changed up. So this is, again, all the subject tos, all the agreements, all the side stuff. At the bottom, everybody signs. Yay. Buyers, sellers, and the escrow agent. This is the listing agent who's holding the money in the bank. All the initials. At the end, once you've gone through all this, have everybody sign everything, and you're done. Scan it, make sure they get a copy of it, make sure you're getting a copy of it, and then you can leave. High fives. Congratulations, you're under agreement.